Alright, I have to go ahead and finish this one real quick. Just in case people weren't sure what the answer was last time, it was 0.54. That's what your mu equals. When I said coefficient, I meant coefficient of static friction, which is the same thing as your mu. Alright, so this is a 4, not a 7. Alright. Alright, next problem. A toy cart at the end of a string, 0.7 meters long, moves in a circle on a table. The cart has a mass of 2 kilograms. The string has a centripetal force of 40 newtons. Calculate the maximum speed of the cart. So right now what we do know is, first off, we know that the end of the string, a toy cart at the end of a string, 0.7. So we know if our string is 0.7, then our radius, because our radius is dependent on that string, is 0.7. We also know the mass equal 2. And they do us one even better. We know that our centripetal force equals 40. What we're trying to solve for is our maximum speed. Now, earlier we set up an equation, if you watched the first video, for what the velocity equals if we're just solving velocity. I'm going to go ahead and do that again for anybody who probably didn't watch the other one, maybe because they didn't need to for whatever reason, okay? Alright, so force is equal to mass and velocity squared over r. For purposes of space, I'm not going to show you I'm not going to directly write it down, but if you multiply r on both sides, divide by m, and square root it, you end up with v equals square root F, or the centripetal force, times r over m. If you want to know how I got this, go to the first video and skip ahead to it. Alright, and so at this point we have all the numbers. Just plug in f of c, which is 40, plug in r, which is 0.7, and then you plug in mass, which is 2, and square root it. Make sure you square root it. Don't forget about square rooting everything. You should end up getting that the velocity is equal to 3.74. And since this is velocity, we have meters per second. Don't forget your units in every one of these, okay? Alright, final question of home stretch. Alright, so a 65 kilogram speed skater is racing around a circular track. The track has a radius of 20 meters. It takes the skater 10 seconds to complete one lap. Alright, so if it helps, you can go ahead and create a little kind of sketch of this. We have enough space here, so I'm going to go ahead and do it for you. Alright. The track is circular, and the track has a radius of 20. That means this distance from the center to the end, 20. It takes this skater 10 seconds to complete one lap. All right. So what do we know? Well, I just told you that the radius is 20. The time is 10 for one rotation or one revolution. Okay? A revolution is just how many times it's taken something to complete a whole circle. And don't forget, we also know the mass, which is 65. Right now, it wants us to calculate the velocity. Now, the velocity should be one of the equations on your chart. If you don't have it, go ahead and write this down. Velocity equals 2 pi r over t. All right, 2 pi r over t. Well, what a coincidence. We have every single one of these pieces, okay? So, if you plug it in, you get 2 times pi times 20 divided by time, which is 10. You end up getting, sorry about these numbers, 2 pi 20, 10. Those are what they are. You end up getting that equal to 12.56. Right. And then again, it is velocity, so 80 meters per second. Now once you know the acceleration, well, now that we have velocity, we can solve for acceleration. So acceleration is equal to 12. Well, here, I'll just put the equation first. Acceleration is equal to velocity over radius, okay? This is just so you guys make sure you have this for the test. Velocity is equal to 12.56 squared. And then we already had a radius, which is 20. So you end up getting 7.8. These units, since it's acceleration, would be meters per second squared. Okay, don't forget that. And the final one, calculate the centripetal force of the skater. Well, by now it should be a habit, but just in case it's not, centripetal force. Just so you guys know, force in general is equal to mass times acceleration. The only situation in which you would use the other one, but I used to be using this one. The only situation you would need this for is if they asked you to solve centripetal force and didn't give you acceleration. We have acceleration, so we don't need to do all of this again. So simply multiply your mass, which is 65, times the acceleration we just solved for, which is 7.8. And you end up getting 512, oh, sorry about that, 0.7. 512, this is 512.7 newtons, because this is force. Anything in force has to be newtons. Okay? Alright, that's all of them. If you have any questions, feel free to actually just put a comment on the Edmodo page, because that's where I'm going to be putting all these videos. I'll try my best to answer them. You could also just email them essentially, whatever one's easier for you, okay? Alright, so I hope that helped. And good luck on the test, guys.